post-grant opposition. So now we'll start from 57. So 57 to 63 is common across all opposition, because whenever you are opposing something, you have to file a statement, you have to disclose your standee. Why are you person interested, right? Why are you interested in opposing it? And what are the evidences, what are the grounds, and what do you expect as a result? Like, you may expect as a result that the patent application should have been granted to me, or the patent application should be refused. These are the expectations that you have, right? So they also ask, what are you expecting? So the opponent shall send a written statement in duplicate setting out the nature of the opponent's interest, right? Section 2T, and the facts upon which he bases his case, basically the grounds, and shall deliver to the patentee a copy of the statement and the evidence. So remember, 57 is where the war starts, where the opponent actually is, so form 7A, along with statement and evidences and disclosing their stand also, and then they send 2 copies to the controller and 1 copy to the applicant. Now, so what is the next step that can happen? So statement and evidences have been received by the applicant. Applicant needs to respond to it. So that is called a reply statement. So reply statement, along with reply statement, you can file evidences also. So that's called reply statement and evidences. That is rule 58. So if the patentee desires to contest the opposition, because sometimes what happens is the grounds could be too good a grounds, or the patent application would be too flimsy an application, and I don't want to spend any more energy on it. It was anyway an academic purpose for me, or maybe I'm not let's say earning anything out of it, so I may not want to contest. But then whenever I want to contest, I want to respond. I have to respond. So that is reply statement, natural, right? Statement, reply statement, evidence, evidence. So reply statement setting out fully the grounds upon which the opposition is contested along with evidences. So within 2 months. So here 2 months. Earlier there were 3 months. Now why 2 months? Because it's already a granted patent. You should, if you're serious, you should be serious about it. So within 2 months, I need to file a reply statement, and I need to send a copy to. I need to send a copy to opponents also. Yes. So I need to send a copy to the controller as well as to opponent. And if I don't, let's say, come back within 2 months, what will happen? The patent shall be deemed to have been revoked. Simple. You don't respond, the patent gets revoked. Now, interesting. So opponent filed the statement and evidence. Patentee, basically, not applicant, sorry. Patentee filed a reply statement and evidence. Now the opponent also gets another chance to file his reply. So that is reply evidence. So the opponent may, within 1 month, so think of it. So 2 months, now 1 month. So this is the opponent's chance. This is to and fro, the badminton that's happening here, right? The opponent may, within 1 month from the date of delivery to him of a copy or the patentee's reply statement and evidence. So now this reply has to be strictly confined to the matters in the patentee's evidence. Now the patentee may have submitted some evidence. Now the response that the opponent is doing now has to be specific to the evidence. That's why this is called reply evidence. So you are contesting the evidence now, that this evidence that you have submitted cannot be considered as a true evidence because this does not disclose this, or this is not substantiated along those lines. So with this done, so opponent got 2 chances. First was his own, then in response to what patentee has actually responded. So we have statement and evidence, we have reply statement and evidence, and then finally we have reply evidence. So the game is over. Now anything else that needs to be submitted has to be done with the permission of the controller. So that is rule 60. So we know 55, we know 55A, 56 is opposition board. 57 is where we talk about how the statement should come out. 58 is where the patentee needs to respond. 59 is where the opponent again responds. 60 is that if there is anything else that you need to provide in terms of documents and evidences, then controller will give the permission, right? That is done. Now 61 talks about, because we are talking about so much of evidence, so much of documents, what kind of copies need to be there, what kind of translation needs to be there. Just about that. This is just an administrative thing, nothing else. If something needs to be translated, you need to provide an English copy of it. Finally, remember how everything gets sorted out? By talking, communication. 62, hearing. So the controller will ask these guys that, do you want to come for hearing? These guys need to say yes and then pay appropriate fee to be considered for hearing. Now for hearing you need to give a notice. So even though controller has invited you, you need to RSVP that yes, I am going to attend it. It is not taken for granted that because an invitation has come to you, you will definitely come for hearing, right? So if you have not given the notice for attending the hearing, you will not be allowed to attend the hearing. Now after the hearing that happens, the controller will come out with its own decision. That decision could be, now we understand, it is refused. So opposition board's recommendation has been taken into account, and the reply statements and reply evidence have been taken into account to come up with the decision, and notifies the parties what has been decided. Now because so much of cost would go into it, so the controller may, if the patentee notifies the controller that he decides to withdraw the patent after notice of opposition is given, the controller, depending on the merits of the case, may decide whether cost should be awarded to the opponent. Oh, this is little out of order. So what it says, let's say when the notice of opposition has been filed, and remember when we were discussing that if the patentee so desires that I want to contest this, but if the patentee were to say that no, I don't want to contest it, then what can happen? The notice of opposition, the guy who had actually filed for notice of opposition can come back and say, hey, see, he has wasted everybody's time. So the controller may say that, okay boss, you need to pay for it. It rarely happens, but then there is a provision in the act where the cost can be recovered from the patentee. Now from herein there are other sections also. So 25 we are done, buddies. Okay, 25.1 is pre-grant, 25.2 is post-grant. We know the grounds remain the same, which are section 2, section 3, section 6, section 7, section 8, section 9, section 10, section 13 in terms of anticipation. Those are the grounds, and you can talk about it. And then so the ground remains the same because there is to and fro happening between the applicant, the controller, and the patentee. We thought of talking about the rules also. So the rules 55 to 63. So 55 is pre-grant, 55A is post-grant, 56 is opposition board constituted by the opponent, by the controller, once he receives form 7A, which is notice of opposition. Then we have statement evidence, 57. Then 58 is reply statement and evidence, and 59 is reply evidence. 60 is, do you want to disclose more documents? Controller permission. 61 is how many copies? Translation. 62 is hearing. 63 is cost awarding. That's about it. Okay. Now see, one of the ground that was there was wrongful obtainment, right? In case of wrongful obtainment, the person who opposed the patent, the granted patent, right? So once who opposed the patent may say that I want this patent to be there, right? So section 26, immediately after 25. So section 26, I don't remember the verbatim, so let me just flip through it. So in case of obtaining, controller may treat the patent as the patent of the opponent. So this is talking about patent which is post grant, right? So first ground was section 6, right? So it was wrongfully obtained. So if it is wrongfully obtained and I am opposing because, so let's say Leila Majnu. Leila was the person who actually invented and was the true and first inventor, but the Majnu actually filed for the patent, got the patent also. Now Leila can oppose the patent and thresh the patent, or can get the patent on her name, which is wrong because it was wrongfully obtained. So the Leila would want the patent to be considered my patent. So patent of opponent, right? So where in any opposition proceeding under this act, the controller finds that the invention was obtained from the opponent in a wrongful manner, then on request by such opponent made in prescribed manner, direct that the patent shall stand amended in the name of opponent. For the entire patent application can be, so let's say true and false or multiple choice question. After pre-grant opposition, can the patent patent be named as, can the patentee be changed to the opponent? True. In case of wrongful obtainment. Apart from that, see, another thing is, so there are two cases. One is the complete specification or complete claims, or another is part. Now in case of part, what can happen is both can have their patents. Now Leela can have Leela's portion, Majnu can have Majnu's portion. So both of them will have their own portions to deal with. So there would be, so what happens, apart from an invention described in the complete specification, he may pass an order requiring that the specification be amended by exclusion of that part of the invention, right? So amend to exclude the part which belongs to Leela. So section 26.2 also talks in that term also. You can read through it. So that's about it. Now there is another section which is mention of inventor as such in the patent. Now we can discuss it later. Maybe I can create another video on it. But then whole and soul what it says it, if any person wants to be named as an inventor, right? So now the inventor, so a person along with the applicant of the patent can say that his name should be included. Or I am a third party, I have no support of these guys. I can directly say that my name should be included in the invention as inventor. Let's say in case of Leela Majnu. Majnu filed the invention. Now Leela wants to be considered as an inventor. So there is a provision which says mention of inventor as such in the patent. So as such is very important here. So we are writing you as inventor here. There may or may not be any rights associated with it, but we are okay to write your name as inventor in the application. Now when can this happen? This happens before the grant. So before the grant of the patent, yes. Before the grant of the patent, you can have your name being included as the inventor. We'll discuss about it later. But so, but then I hope, let's see how this video helps you. Is it useful or not? We can talk about it later, so that I may or may not create more videos on it. Because talking to myself also is not easy. I'm looking at myself and talking. I don't know what kind of reactions are there, but then. Let's see how it helps. It's a long video, it's an hour video. It's getting to an hour now. So that's about it. Remember, it's very important section and you can tackle it with respect to the sections that we had read earlier, right? So folks, I'll be looking for feedback from you in terms of how did I do? Should I slow it down? Should I pace it up? Should I anything else, because this is the first time that I've created a video and it would be helpful to receive your feedback. I will not ask you to subscribe because there is no channel here. It's just that I would want to become better at delivering such kind of videos. Okay guys, so that's from my side. We can talk later once you have gone through it, but definitely let me know how you liked it. Okay, bye bye, take care.